Hello there, my name's Tracy Elsom and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based in Canada. Today I'm going to show you a quick card using this stamp set. It's a very old stamp set from Stampin' Up! But it's still available, and it's going to use this clump of trees here. So I'm going to start with a piece of very vanilla card and some Stampin' Sponge. So little bits of sponge here. And just with some Soft Sky ink, I'm just going to sponge across the top. I'm not worrying too much about any little marks that are appearing. The sky is never absolutely flat, so just by doing this, I'm getting a little bit of variation in the sky. I want it quite dark. There we go, that's that. Next, what I want to do is to take some soft crumb cake ink and the stamp. So this is the stamp itself, and what I want to do is ink it up, and I'm going to stamp over here. Then I'm going to move it up and slightly over to the right, and up and slightly over to the right. So each time the images get lighter, but because I'm moving it over the line where I've actually cut it off on the edge of the card, you don't get a nasty mark. So on the other side of the card, I'm going to do the same thing, but this time stamp it down, move it to the left, and move it to the left. So each time goes up a little bit darker. So the next thing, piece of paper, I'm just going to tear a little edge, and I want to create the effect of some snowbanks. So where we've already got these marks underneath the trees, the little humps, I'm going to use my paper and just a little bit of Soft Sky ink. I'm going to put the paper just along those little stamped hills there, and just add a little bit of ink. So this is Soft Sky ink again. A bit more up there, and a little bit there, and then I want to create a few more further down. That's a little bit of a large lump. Let's make that snowdrift not quite so dramatic. There we go. You can always change when you're using a little bit of paper like this. It's easy to do. And I'm moving the paper around. I don't want it to be obvious that I've used the same piece of paper over and over again. You don't want to see the same sort of mark. There we go. There. And a little bit there. Okay, now that's quite bright, so I want to tone it down just a little bit. So I'm going to bring in some Soft Sky, Smoky Slate rather, and I'm just going to ink that up and just very quickly rub it across. And that just tones everything down a little bit. Okay, so that, to all intents and purposes, is finished. That's the background. Now on a piece of little strip of very vanilla card, I'm going to use my crumb cake ink, and I'm going to stamp the sentiment. And the sentiment comes from this stamp set, Hollyberry Happiness, and it's the best wishes for the season. So I'm just going to ink that up and try and get it in the centre. There we go, that's okay. And then with my paper snips, I'm just going to trim that off a little bit. So cut into the centre and then cut from either side to create a little flag. So that goes onto the background with some Stampin' Dimensionals. Let's just put 3 on there. And put that just there like that. Okay. Another piece of Very Vanilla card. I'm going to use that as a background. I need a slightly bigger one. There we go. So, multi-purpose liquid glue, a little bit of Tombow just on the edges here. Bring that round. And attach that to that piece. Just to give a very, very small edge to it. So for the base, I've decided to go with Crumb Cake card. So I've already scored it down the middle. It's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. So scored it down the middle, and then just use my bone folder to put that into place. That will go there. A few more Stampin' Dimensionals. Off these. I love Stampin' Dimensionals. I've used other types of foam adhesive pads, and these are without doubt the easiest to get off the backing. So now let's try and get this into place. There we go. So there's the front. Okay, let's come in with another piece of Very Vanilla card. I'm going to get the Crumb Cake ink again and my little tree image, and I think I'll just stamp it in the corner there and then move it over and stamp it again. So that's that. And I'm going to do the same on the envelope. Again, ink the whole stamp up, stamp it down, move it over, and you get that nice effect. Put some Tombow on the back of the liner, get that, put that inside the card, so the inside now coordinates with the front. And one last final thing, I'm going to bring in my fine tip glue pen, and I'm just going to squeeze some glue along each of those little humps there that I have created. So there's some that are stamped from the actual original image, and then where I have created those little dark marks on the card, I'm just adding a little bit of liquid glue there. Just check, see how much I've got. A little bit more down there, to the back there. Okay, so I'm just sort of checking to make sure I've covered everything that I need to cover. And then here comes the fun part. I'll bring in a piece of paper, and this is Dazzling Diamonds stamping glitter. I'm just going to sprinkle it all the way over there and tap it. And there is a card. It's got some nice little shimmer and shine on it from the glitter, nice inside, and an envelope to match. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing that one. Give it a try, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye.